Hello beautiful people, my name is Wendy and it is the last day of BookTubeAthon 2018. It's been such a fun, rewarding, enriching, and very bookish week, and I want to thank every single one of you that's interacted with me on my videos and has done challenges of your own that have entertained me, and just thank you BookTube for creating such a beautiful, welcoming, fun, bookish environment where people like me can thrive and enjoy themselves. Today's video challenge is brought to us by our host and BookTubeAthon's creator, Ariel from the channel Ariel Bissett. I'll have her challenge video and her channel linked in my description box below, and if you haven't already, you should definitely check her out. And Ariel has tasked us to tell you guys what our favorite books are and why. That's it. That's the whole challenge. I think as bookish people, it's pretty difficult to choose one main book that has shaped our lives more than any of the rest that we've read, or alternatively, if it hasn't shaped our lives, the one that has meant the most to us for whatever reason. I like to think that we're all changed by every single book we read, even the ones we don't like very much, or the ones that we consider bad, or even the ones we don't finish. I think each book that we come into contact with as bookish people, scratch that, as humans who read, like anyone, even if they don't really consider themselves very bookish, I think is changed by the media that they consume, and books are no exception, in my opinion. As such, the more books you come into contact with, obviously the selection for which one has made the greatest impact or which one is most important to you becomes harder to make. Maybe it's childish, and maybe it's just a testament to how strong that book is in the shaping of my personal life. But my favorite book from childhood all the way up till now has always been Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. The reasons I loved it as a kid were pretty simple. I identified very, very strongly with Wendy Darling. She was the first book character that I ever read that had an even similar name to my own. And at the time, our families were very similar. She was the oldest of three for a very long time. I was the oldest of three. She told her younger siblings stories, so did I. And both she and I, when we were on this cusp of adolescence, were both terrified and super excited of growing up. You know, finally reaching that next step in the human experience. I know I personally wanted very little more than to be taken seriously and listened to by the adults in my life. I had so much to say, and there were no ears that wanted to hear me. And because of that, the idea of being whisked away into a magical fairyland where I could both stay young and innocent and also have that greater authority the way Wendy did with the Lost Boys, that really appealed to me. As I've grown older, I've realized that those feelings haven't really gone away. I think part of the human experience is that we're always striving for the next level of a thing. You know, we're always looking for that something more. And that's what I think the great tragedy of humanity is, that that something more is always a step ahead of wherever we can ever be. I think the beauty of the story of Peter Pan, for me anyway, is that you don't have to reach that something more, that invisible, impossible to get to ideal, in order to be happy and satisfied and make a positive difference in your own life and in the lives of other people. Wendy eventually has to go back home along with her siblings. She doesn't get to stay in this magical fairyland where there's adventure around every corner and she is, you know, the sagest, most listened to person on the entire island of Neverland. She has to go home and she has to face the facts of growing up and the fact that it's not easy and it's always going to be a journey and there's always going to be someone that doesn't want to listen to you. But she's ultimately happier for it, because part of what that means is that she's always going to have a chance to grow. Our titular character, Peter, doesn't grow. He stays stagnant and forgets, because it's the only way that he can continue living in that stagnant, everything is awesome 100% of the time, I am, you know, top dog of my island way. I think a little bit of Peter lives in everyone, in that none of us really want to let that go. All of us want to believe that things can be our way 100% of the time. But I think the greater strength lies in fighting that and allowing yourself to change and develop as a person, and to not be upset at the fact that you can't keep something forever that's not made to be kept forever. Plus, like, there's pirates and mermaids and fairies, and as you all know, if you've been around my channel long enough, I'm absolute trash for every fantasy trope ever. Yeah, I think that this was a very good way to end the BookTubeAthon experience. I still have about half of the day to read. I want to see if I can get 8, maybe even 9 books finished by today. I doubt it'll happen, but, you know, we can keep our fingers crossed. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked my video, please leave it a thumbs up, and if you like me, maybe consider subscribing. It's lovely and sunny outside, and this heat wave has been killing me, as you can probably tell by the sheen on my face in the past 7 videos. So I'm off to read my book on the beach. Hopefully it'll be slightly windier and more tolerable there. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.